So Looksina Khan. Looksina is a lecturer at North-South University, and she's passionate about youth and student empowerment, healing, and wellness, not just their academic potential, but their life potential. Looksina, would you like to share with us your professional experience, what you've observed, what is going on in the schools and university that you would like us to know about so we can support to bring change?
Thank you, Venier, for giving me the platform to actually talk about something which is very important yet so neglected in our country. Well, being a teacher, I have to deal with a lot of issues that the students come up with. And one of the most common issues is, Miss, I'm not feeling well. I'm not feeling okay. Every semester, I get at least 2 to 3 students who will come to me and say, Miss, I don't know, like I'm not able to concentrate on the studies. I'm not being able to focus on anything. I'm just feeling overall lost. And as a teacher, I have to some extent, give them mental support. So over the period of last 3 years, I have kind of trained myself, self-taught myself how to deal with students who come with these kind of issues. A few things I would like to mention. When I ask them that, have you tried to solve it, or have you tried to understand how you're feeling or what the feeling is about? Some common statements are, number one, I tried to talk to my parents, but either they do not understand, number one, or they consider it as an excuse for not studying or for not concentrating. That's a very, I would say, that's very alarming, right? And number two is that if they try to talk to their friends or seek help from their friends, either their friends didn't listen or didn't understand or just ignored. Now, in this case, you really cannot blame their parents or the friends because each of them is going through their own struggle. Right. So most of the times what happens that maybe your friend is going through something and you're trying to seek help from that person, but that person himself or herself is struggling with something inside. So either they do not have the time to listen to you or they really don't understand what you're going through. So what happens, they get really comfortable sharing these things with me as a teacher. I think that also depends on us teachers, how we send out the vibe, what kind of attitude we show, that whether the students will be comfortable sharing innermost fears, anxiety, or feelings with us. This has been happening with me since I started teaching. So I would like to share one experience. So one time in one of my semesters, I was teaching business communication and I had this student who froze during presentation. And obviously I gave him another chance. I told him that, okay, you can present next day or just come to me if you need any help. Immediately after the class, he came to my office and he said, Miss, I have severe anxiety disorder. I shake whenever someone asks me any question. If I have to face public, or if I have to go to the podium, or if I have to speak in front of a large number of people, I freeze or I start shaking. He was literally shaking. Like I thought he would, fall down. And then I said, okay, so do you have any other symptoms or just you have this public speaking fear? He was like, no, miss, I go through severe anxiety disorders even when I'm home from time to time. So my first question was, have you talked to your parents? He was like, yes, I tried, but they think it's nothing, it will be fine. And then when he talked about seeking professional help, that I need to see a doctor, they were scared because they thought, oh, our relatives will call our son crazy or mad. Even if you look at the data, there was a survey conducted by our health directorate of Bangladesh government, and it was backed up with the technical support from the World Health Organization. Even from that study, you can see that there is still this stigma that people will call you mad if you seek for help. Even your friends might call you crazy, that, oh, okay, you're always negative, you have some issues, we won't hang out with you, you're crazy. The word crazy is stigma itself. You're attaching to the word mental health, right? To the term mental health. So Then I asked him to consult his siblings. And he said one of his brothers is actually studying in the US. And that was actually like a huge opportunity for him to seek help. So I told him, why don't you contact your brother and ask him to talk to someone from the US, you know, a psychologist or a psychiatrist. And he had to eventually drop the course because he couldn't continue the semester. And after 1 year, he sent me an email saying, Miss, I have talked to my brother, and my brother has contacted one of the psychiatrists from the US, and I'm a bit better now. So you see, there is a huge treatment gap. If you look at the data, the same data I talked about, the survey conducted by Health Directorate of Bangladesh, said there is a huge treatment gap in case of mental health. And only appointing psychologists won't help. You need to, because it's going to take a long time if you want to appoint so many psychiatrists and train them accordingly for this mental health sector. That's the reason I think we need more resources and we need more training on how we can actually work on our mental health by ourselves. And if we get the access to resources or trainings, I think it would be easier for everyone to seek help and also actually go for practical techniques and solutions. One more thing I would like to add, if I have the time.
Yes.
Recently, we have a lot of student groups on Facebook. So recently I have seen there is an increase in the number of posts regarding mental health or feeling depressed, or I don't know how to cope up, especially during the lockdown and after the lockdown. And one of the posts actually I have come across today, like few hours before this webinar, it say that I have been feeling really bad. I don't know how to describe it, but I really need to talk to someone, a professional, but I cannot pay. I don't have enough money to pay to the professionals or, you know, the private counselors that we have. So is there anyone who can help me out? Is there anyone who can give me, you know, a resource or the contact number of a person whom I can talk to and get practical solutions? Because what happens that talking to someone or talking to a psychologist might not work all the time. You need practical techniques, methods to deal with the feelings that the students are going through. So from my position, I have come across a lot of people so far who have been suffering from different kinds of mental disorders. And I try my best to talk it out, to let them speak up, get them talking. But at the end of the day, I also need the resources and tools and techniques so that I can help them. So I think there is a huge treatment gap in our country, which is, which can be mitigated if we have enough sources of organizations working for mental health. First of all, we need to create the awareness, because most of the times these symptoms go, unrecognized, or most of the time there is underreporting or underdiagnosis in our country, that most of the people don't even know that there is help that they can get. And even if there is for example, we do have a full-time psychologist on campus, but students, when I ask them, why don't you go and, talk to the psychologist that we have, it's free. They're like, no, miss, it's not gonna work. I don't feel like going to that person. Why is that? I think more research needs to be done to know why people actually don't want to go to the psychologist, whereas they're seeking help online, on Facebook, on different social media. So if they're comfortable sharing their feelings and asking for help online, why can't they just talk to someone in person offline? So that's actually a question I also need an answer for. So yeah, that's pretty much it for the time being. That's what I have experienced so far as a teacher.